Welcome to our podcast, episode 144 on the end of the Our podcast. It's time for another final episode. Yeah, again, the podcast like things or just talking about topic things won't stop. Just I think referring to as the either To Be Human podcast or our podcast is kind of pointless at this point. Yeah, and this decision was sort of inspired from Brain Leak. As again, I started a little bit before Brain Leak and now ending a bit after Brain Leak. But yeah, it's time for a conclusion. So yeah, unfortunately, again, I don't really have a topic of proper for this one. Just generally want to end it. But I think the best way to sort of end it is to end it's like how it began, because at the beginning I wasn't certain exactly like what I was gonna do with the podcast. Like, my initial thought was that there would be occasional bits with my characters that I've made over time. Like I thought it would basically be mostly talking about the topic, but have the characters involved with that as well, which you can see in the pilot episode as I forget who exactly, but I think most likely it was Michael and someone else doing it. But yeah, that was kind of the thing at the beginning of the podcast. But I quickly realized I don't know if I want to do more character stuff. Like, I already do plenty of character stuff. I should have something where I can be our character, just me, instead. So I quickly decided on that. So I did also have a poll just to, gauge, like, if that was the direction I would go with it, and it was quite clear by that old poll. Let me actually see if I can pull it up. The old poll. It was a long time ago, but I'm curious to see if I can find it. For the Our podcast. Yeah, here it is. Drag it over. Yeah, so I'll have to editor me will let this part be just the direct video footage. but I did do a poll way back then to see the gauge of things, and it was quite clear that mostly, I mean there was only 4 votes, but mostly it was going to be non-character focus, which I kind of already wanted to head that way anyway, but that just, I guess cemented it, whatever. But anyway, that was the poll that, helped direct if it should be character focused or not. And in the end of the day, that's, what I did, and talked about many topics I'm passionate about within this podcast. Again, this is the podcast about the things I like. So, yeah. But I think it's the only thing that, in the end, I end where I start. So, it's time for me to be in character one more time. I think it's time for a reprise of how I've been dead, Orange. Now you're bringing me back. Hey Al, it's your show, your podcast in the end of the day. Yes, it's nice that I get one last chance to be alive, but not even Michael's here. I can drag in Michael. Why did you drag me here, Orange? For one last goodbye. What? Ow! You're alive, only briefly thanks to Orange's shenanigans. Look at where we are. We're in the podcast after so long. Oh yeah, the podcast. I totally forgot about that. Orange, what happened to the thing where we would be a part of it? Well, I changed my mind because I figured it was best for mainly me. I guess that's fair. God, you're weird, Orange. Yep, Michael, indeed. I guess in my creations, I create weird things, weird scenarios, weird whatever. But, I guess it's all to create, yeah. Well, Al, I guess, it's good to see you, even if this is only brief. Yeah, Michael. Indeed. Anyway, you two want to say something about the podcast? We haven't even been a part of it. Yeah, we haven't even been a part of it, like Michael said. Especially when it's my podcast. My show. You ain't even an owl. You're breaking the rule you technically created. Orange. True. Owl. True. But trying to think of a clever way to how this it's I have nothing. Yeah, you have nothing. Nothing at all. Either way, I guess still I'll do something at least. For all those that have watched this podcast, whether it was from the start, somewhere in the middle, or close to the very end, or if at the very end, I guess thanks for seeing the show. It wouldn't be, I guess, anything without you all. And I guess, it's probably gave, I don't know, oranges him his, gave him his dumb ideas, whatever. So yeah. Thank you all. But I'm gonna return to death, so goodbye Orange, goodbye Michael, goodbye. Alright, so bye. God damn it, Orange, why do you always have to do this? Sorry Michael. Anyway, everyone out there have a good time. I'm getting back to what I need to do. Gosh darn. I'm out of here, goddamn. Well, that left. But anyway, in all seriousness, our character now, by character man, curse you real man. Bye bye now. In all seriousness, thank you all for being around for the podcast, and I hope that, the future stuff proves to be, still good. I mean, yeah, and I don't want the sort of, I guess, stuff of the podcast, especially To Be Human podcast, to die, so definitely try and keep it alive in a way. But it is time for a change, so things will change. And yeah. But yes, for now, that's the end of the podcast. Both podcasts. It's the end of Al, it's the end of To Be Human, it's the end. But I'm still going to be around, obviously. Just it's another, I guess, thing to conclude, another series that has formally concluded, another conclusion of a thing. God, so many things have concluded, and more will inevitably conclude before the like end of I guess next year at this point, like 2025, like, because 2024 is almost over, so more things will conclude for the duration of the next year. Not like I want everything to conclude, but eventually if there isn't, certain goals hit in, I guess, timely manner, I guess eventually I'll have to, you know, go quit my hobby. Well, not really quit, but, start to wind it down more and more over time. And I don't want to fully quit. I don't want to fully leave this hobby behind. I still feel like I have so much I want to do. But eventually it'll be more and more succinctly wrapped up. It's very likely throughout the next month I'm going to be wrapping up a whole lot more things. Just to, clean the slate a bit more, to make certain that there's no potential, arcs where it hasn't really succinctly concluded. And that means a lot more of the time I'll be doing probably sort of double episodes instead of Gmod stuff. But yeah, it's I'll see how the future plays out. Time will tell how the future will play out. But yeah, either way, I think it's time to probably conclude. So thanks all for watching the Hour Podcast, the final Hour Podcast. Talked about May topics of my interests. I'll still probably have things like that, just still be a bit like eventually I've definitely got to talk about the amazing digital circuit. Have I even wrote that down on the list? I probably should write that down on the list. Just I don't think I want to write on the list because I want to probably talk about other things first. But then again, I could just write on the list to have it on the list because I know by the time I get to it, that probably time will pass. Like, if I had to estimate right now how long it would take just to get to certain things, let's see, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks. It'd be on the 9th week. Like, by that point, the next episode should be out. Like, the next episode should be out by then. Potentially even the 7th. But I I doubt that. But still, fairly potentially, there's potential for two. But that means it basically have to be month after month. So one in January and then one in Feb, so if my calculations are correct, which I doubt. Yeah, it's probably more likely going to be, you know, talking about the first 6 then. But just, well, kind of similar to Murder as well. Not exactly the same, but still. But it's odd how things end up similarly. But yeah. And then probably do the other 3, hopefully, at some point. But yeah. But anyway, either way, I think that'll be a wrap for our podcast. So definitely thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening to all my rambles or tangents or rants or whatever during this. And, you know, thanks to, you know, people who have been, you know, guests on it, like my friend Kim, despite as much as I've, you know, been sort of, you know, dogging on her for a bit, you know, she was like basically the my only like one time guest, and then secondly, obviously, gotta thank Sky for being a sort of co-host for many of the episodes. Although at this point it's become more solo, it seems, which is a bit of a shame. I guess it's, you know, it never happens, times change. Still one empty chair left to the left of me, feelingly enough. Yeah, but either way, I still want to thank Sky, and yeah. So yeah, but that will be the fun end of the Hour podcast. So thank you all for watching this Hour podcast, and I guess no seeing of you next time, as there won't be another podcast, but there will be other things in place of the podcast. But I guess see you next time for all that other general stuff that will come. But yeah, until then, you know, peace, thank you, and goodbye. So yeah, peace and thank you for watching the Our podcast. But yeah, goodbye and peace.